Hey guys, what's up? It's Greg Srivastava with the Find Your Films YouTube channel. This channel, I will be doing a lot of movie and television reviews, as well as interviews. I have actors and filmmakers talking about their own favorite projects from their own resume. So they're going to give movie and television recommendations on this channel, and they'll also talk about some of their favorite films. For the purposes of this video, I have a very quick review of the Nicolas Cage film, The Surfer. It hits theaters on Friday, May 2nd. Should you watch this movie? Well, if you are a Nicolas Cage fan, the answer is yes, because if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, if you're a huge Nicolas Cage fan, there's a good chance that, or a good shot that you've seen a lot of his movies. The Surfer, while not being on the top echelon of Nicolas Cage movies, it's still a great performance. And if you're a fan, The Surfer is worth watching right off the bat. Now, the one big warning I have for this movie before I get into the plot summary is if you want your endings or your story explained in a nice little bow, not even a nice little bow, just explained in a coherent fashion where you won't be questioning your own intelligence or the way you're seeing the story, or you're not confused. You might be confused. You might not understand. I was mixed as far as the ending goes because it leaves a lot to interpretation. That said, on the flip side of that, if you like your endings ambiguous, abstract, and movies that make you think about things, like just the way things are, and not everything here in The Surfer is not black and white. It's very surreal. So it will frustrate a lot of people. If you want something clearer and more satisfying and more cohesive as far as things making sense, The Surfer might not be for you. But again, this movie still has a lot of great advantages to it, and I'll talk about it in a few moments. Now, regarding the plot line, it centers on the surfer, played by Nicolas Cage. He used to live in Australia. When he was around 15, he moved to California. So that's the way they explained it regarding how Nicolas Cage as a surfer does not have an Australian accent. He's coming back home. He is going to supposedly close escrow, or actually buy his childhood home, which overlooks this beautiful section, private beach. Okay. And it was seemingly a very idyllic spot to live in. Now in his middle age, supposedly he's successful. He is possibly going to pay 1.6 or $1.7 million for this beautiful home overlooking that beach. He takes his son and actually mini kidnaps his son because his son had school. His son's played by Finn Little. He takes his son and he wants to surprise his son with a nice day on the beach. So they take out the surfboard, and the big surprise is he's going to tell his son that he's going to buy the house, the family home. That was going to be the big surprise of the day. The problem is, once they get down from the hillside, they're walking down towards the beach area, they get accosted by a fellow surfer who bumps shoulders with the surfer being Nicolas Cage. And then there's a couple of people, fellow surfers, who tell them this is a private beach, only locals allowed. Finally, we are introduced to the ringleader of this male surfing group. It's played by Julian McMahon. You might know him from Nip Tuck and the Fantastic Four. He plays this character named Scally. And Scally is not only is he the ringleader of this group, we're assuming since it's a local beach, these men most of them at least, are very well-to-do. Not going to get into too much spoilers here, but they're very into the brotherhood, male brotherhood, and male empowerment. And Scally is pretty much the most eloquent and intelligent and the leader of the crew. He tries to tell the surfer and the son that they should basically leave the beach. That is the premise of The Surfer. Ultimately, what happens is the son is embarrassed. He goes home to the mother, and then you realize that things are not going well with the surfer and his wife, or possibly ex-wife. Not going to get into that. There may be some marital problems. There's also a homeless man on the parking lot near the beach who has he's passing out flyers, and it says missing dog. And there's something a little bit off about this. He's bedraggled, homeless man, beard, and very unkempt, unshaven, unclean, all that stuff. Okay. And he's being bullied by the local surfers as well. So possibly, who knows, maybe as the story progresses, the surfer and the homeless man, maybe they might become friends, possibly because they're both outsiders to this community. Okay. That is the main seeming logical premise of The Surfer. And then as the narrative progresses, this movie is 103 minutes. You are treated to the gradual mental breakdown of the surfer, where the surfer is his perception of reality and dreams and illusion are pretty much melded into one. And you, as the viewer, you're trying to figure out, is this sequence happening in real time? Did this sequence happen in the past? What's going on with the surfer? He's losing his grip. If the protagonist is losing his grip on reality, what then are you watching in front of you? Are you watching a jumbled man's dreams or nightmares, maybe possibly a waking nightmare, or is things happening in a realistic fashion? So throughout the entire movie, you're at least I was put into sort of a weird state. It This movie reminds me of a film years ago directed by Ted Kotcheff called Wake and Fright, and there's a very uneasy tone about that movie where there's something brimming under the surface until that surface explodes. I love Wake and Fright. I need to rewatch that again. But this movie has a little touch of that where things are not as they seem. And then it also has a very David Lynchian type of vibe to it. Everything is surreal. And the POV stuff is just very, you don't know if it's an unreliable narrator. You don't know what's going on. And then towards the end, I wanted clarity regarding what happened because it's a slow burn. You're building up to that climactic moment where possibly everything is explained to you in a very cinematic and resonant fashion. Although I didn't get that, I was still fine with it because still several hours after watching The Surfer, I have my two interpretations of what really happened regarding the ending of The Surfer. And I'll put my spoiler stuff later on in this channel in a week or so. I released the spoiler stuff a little bit early for our Cinematics Patreon group. By the way, I do a if you don't know what my reviews are usually on the Cinematics podcast. It's a weekly podcast I host with my buddies Bruce Perky and Eric Holmes. Check that out, Cinematics podcast. But this Find Your Films YouTube channel will be a lot of my own just rambling reviews as well as just collected movie recommendations and whatnot from the actors and filmmakers I interview. Now, getting back to The Surfer, do I fully recommend it? Yes, there are moments that Nicolas Cage goes completely bonkers. There's a rat involved. Let's just say there is excrement involved close to a fountain. There is a gun. There are flat whites being ordered and phones needing to be charged, possible cars disappearing in the middle of the parking lot. There are just different things that Nicolas Cage, the actor, can play with. And although the movie is visually breathtaking because it's set mainly on the beach, it does feel like a hemmed-in claustrophobic thriller because really it's just the beachside, the hillside, and the parking lot, and also the adjoining bathroom on the parking lot. Maybe exterior shots of the two cars involved. Again, The Surfer is worth a look. I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It didn't fully grab me, but I still recommend it as a solid Nicolas Cage thriller experience from director Lorcan Finnegan. By the way, I really loved Lorcan's previous movie, Nocebo, Nocebo. Google it, check it out. It's very surreal like The Surfer, but things are explained in a lot more cohesive fashion in that film. Now, again, The Surfer, would love to hear in the comments. Tell me what you think of the movie. Did the movie frustrate you because it didn't give you a clear explanation of how things are supposed to be or didn't explain things correctly to you as the fellow cinephile? Or did you love the fact that it ended in a very abstract manner where you can actually piece together your own interpretation of what The Surfer was really about? All right, thanks again so much. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to this channel. There will be a lot more stuff coming down the pike. There will be a lot of movie spoilers, television reviews. Currently, I'm getting a lot of stuff from Netflix and Apple TV Plus, so a lot more stuff there. And yeah, thank you so much. Take care. Bye.